welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and on today's program, we will sit down and talk with South Shore YMCA President Paul Gorman, get an update. First, though, we do check out the weather and the news for you currently in Quincy. It is overcast out there. 45 degrees right now. We should see some sunshine later on today. Temperatures in the lower 50s, not too chilly tonight, down to about 40 or so. Looks like a pretty mild, dry week coming up, actually. A little chillier tomorrow, but more sunshine. Highs in the upper 40s. Maybe some afternoon and evening rain here on Wednesday. Still pretty mild, though, into the mid-40s. And look at Thursday. Lots of clouds, but we're talking about 60 degrees here in some places on Thursday afternoon. Right now, cloudy and 45 degrees in Quincy. In the news today, it is property tax time in Quincy. Tonight, the Quincy City Council will hold a virtual public hearing about next year's property taxes and then is expected to set the new tax rates for 2022. Quincy City Council President Nina Liang takes the responsibility very seriously.
I have such dread and anxiety just even thinking about it. No, I mean, like this is reflective of the budget that we discuss in the spring. That's how it works, right? Every year when we come to the conversation about setting the tax rate, right, it's a reflection on the budget that we vote on in the spring, you know? And so what also needs to be incorporated in that are the assessed values of homes, you know, and it'll be interesting to get a presentation on that, get an update on the sort of change of what it looked like last fiscal year to this fiscal year and the impact that will have on the tax rate. I haven't seen anything yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it when the agenda goes out later this week and hopefully having a robust conversation on Monday.
Mayor Thomas Koch previously said that he anticipated the tax increase next year for the average residential property to be under $300. This year, the increase was $154, or 2.5%. Tonight's public hearing will be held at 6:30, followed by the full council meeting at 7. Watch both live right here on QATV. Quincy City Council recently approved revised redistricting maps, making some changes to some voting precincts based on the 2020 federal census. City Clerk Nicole Crispo says that she made every effort to make the changes as minimal as possible.
There is one split district in our city that, you know, I tried to work 100 times over and just couldn't get it so that it was one, but I think it's workable. Mm-hmm. You know, there's still about the same amount of people, 15 to 1,600 people affected by the new lines, mm-hmm. and they'll be sure to be notified. I'll put an ad in the Quincy Sun, and I'll be sure to send the new information over to you just as soon as I get it. The Secretary of State's office is working now with their system to redo the VRIS system, which is the vital records part of what we do as far as local elections and, for that matter, all elections. Mm-hmm. But, you know, literally going street by street and putting in the new wards and precincts. And as soon as I have that data, I'll, you know, forward it to you in the Quincy Sun. And I think, though, we'll probably wait until sometime in August to do a big mailing on where people vote so that they don't forget.
Crispo says Ward 5, Precinct 1 has been split into 2 precincts because of the population growth in Quincy Center. However, she says the voting locations will not change. Residents impacted by the changes will be notified by mail at least once next year, possibly 2 times. An equity, diversity, and inclusion coordinator will be hired for the Quincy Public Schools. School committee has agreed to create the new position in response to student concerns about racism in the schools. Quincy High School students walked out of class last month in a protest to a racist video and hate speech that was published on social media. That walkout led to a series of discussions where students identified areas where they think the school system needs improvement with regards to racial justice. Superintendent Kevin Mulvey has approved the hiring of the new Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Coordinator that will work under his leadership staff. Funding may come from federal sources. Officials have also agreed to update the student handbook, create more diverse curriculum, and more culturally appropriate culinary choices. Quincy Police Department recently donated over $1,400 to the Quincy Public Schools CARES program. Chief Paul Keenan presented a check to Assistant Superintendent Aaron Perkins and the Director of Special Education, Julie Graham. The money was raised during Autism Awareness Month and will benefit the CARES program in the schools. That stands for Children Achieve Real Success. A 49-year-old Boston man is charged with attacking a 92-year-old man at the Quincy Center T station on Friday afternoon. MBTA police say Armando Hernandez shoved the victim to the ground, causing him to hit his head. The unidentified victim was bleeding and taken to a hospital. Police say the attack was unprovoked and that Hernandez was inebriated and uncooperative. He now faces charges of assault and battery on an elderly person. Well, the annual Germantown Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Quincy back on Thursday night drew a festive crowd to Quacky Lingos Park at the residences at Snug Harbor. Residences of the Quincy Housing Authority property and some surrounding neighbors all enjoyed some holiday treats, some music, the tree lighting ceremony, and of course a visit from Santa bearing gifts for the children. Quincy Housing Authority Director James Marathas stopped by to celebrate with the crowd. And a very special thanks to QATV member Bill Del Monte for providing those pictures for us. Coming up, Paul Gorman of the South Shore YMCA. Next. Welcome back. We welcome back to the program Paul Gorman, the president of the South Shore YMCA here in Quincy, to give us a little update on how things are going and what is coming up in the near and long term. So, Paul, great to see you. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks, Joe. We've been doing this. We were just chatting for about 13 years now.
Yes, yeah. It's gone by quickly.
I know.
Certainly since you first started. Huge changes from the old bunker building to where you are today.
I have a lot more gray hair. You don't see, it doesn't seem to affect you. So.
It does in other ways, trust me. How's it been going in the short term this year?
Well, you know, it's better, you know, than last year. And, you know, in the past, we've always said that the Y is a community center, responds to community needs. And the city of Quincy has been the South Shore YMCA's home for almost 130 years, and it certainly has grown and expanded, like over to Germantown and besides our location here. And in 2020, we had to respond in different ways.
Yes.
You know, when we closed emergency child care, food pantry expansion, the homeless shelter in the Y. And 2021 has been a little bit different.
Okay.
If you can remember, in 2020 and 2021, especially earlier on in the season that we had warmer weather, there were a lot more drownings that were reported on because more people were outside. They weren't inside. And
matter of fact, we had your aquatics director on this program to provide some kind of water safety tips because of that. And
so how we responded is we brought in a program for babies. And it's one of the largest on the East Coast. This session, so a session's about 12 weeks, 14 weeks, we have over 3,100 babies in this program to learn how to swim. So it starts from 2 months to 5 years old.
Okay.
And if you're going to teach children how to swim, the earlier the better.
Yes.
And by 3 years old, these children know a bunch of strokes. So they're more than water safe. They know their strokes. So it's a way for us to respond out there for folks. The other way, oh, sorry, you were going to say something.
What do you attribute the huge outpouring?
So, a woman, Kristen Seaton, has developed this program, a formula around that, and she is great. She works for us, and she stays in contact with all the parents through social media on a regular basis, any questions, any support. So it's kind of a support system for new families as well.
All right.
And, you know, parents know the importance, especially any place in the country. But
Yes.
we not only have ponds and lakes, we have the ocean as well. So she's developed a great formula for this.
The best safety device is a good swimmer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's incredible.
The other way that we've responded to community needs is for children to get back to normal, and we do that. Of course, one of our core programs has been camps. We have day camps here in Quincy. We partner over at East Nazarene College and at our branch going back and forth. And then down in Hanover, in our Science Center over in Norwell, and our resident camp down in Cape Cod. And this past year they were full.
Okay.
And already this year we opened up registration for resident camp, and they're full.
Really? Okay. So there's a definite need.
Yeah. Last year we struggled because trying to get folks to work.
Sure.
So hopefully it'll be a little bit easier for us this year.
Okay.
But that getting kids, our programs are coming back. Our other swim programs for older kids, and we've gotten a lot of inquiries from adults as well to learn how to swim. Because if the parent is afraid of the water, then they usually don't bring their child to the water either. Really working with, and that's usually individual private swim lessons for the parents.
Okay.
So they feel a little bit more comfortable and not self-conscious.
Yes.
Our health and wellness centers and programs are bouncing back, especially group exercise, even though they might be in a little closer quarters, although they're in our big field house.
Yes.
And, as we talk to people, well, why are you coming back? How do you feel about coming? And they said the importance of being healthy and getting stronger to fight off any virus, whether it's COVID-19, the flu, whatever it is, they feel, and we've seen it, that if people are healthier, they're able to fight off, those type of viruses.
Yeah. What is the policy, Paul, for COVID at the Y?
So we follow CDC and whatever the state recommends, and we recommend, if you're not fully vaccinated, to have a mask. But we're not policing that. It's just like every place else in Massachusetts. We encourage people to get vaccinated.
Sure.
We at the Y, our staff, I think we're just about 90% or so vaccinated. We want all of our staff to be vaccinated, or they'll be tested weekly by the first of the year.
Okay.
So hopefully people feel comfortable coming back there. Our other program, again, responding to the needs, especially as people start to go back to work. Childcare is so important.
Yes.
And across the country, teachers, preschool teachers especially, have left the profession. Preschool teachers here in Massachusetts, some have left the profession, but Massachusetts has very strict compliance and guidelines of being a preschool teacher, higher than other parts of the country, which are just about the same as public school teachers. So a lot of them have gone to the public schools, and we've lost folks there. We're working really hard to cut overhead expenses so we can increase salaries for those folks, the teachers.
You have to be competitive, right?
You're right, and the state has helped. There's been federal money that's come in specifically for preschool teachers, so we've increased salaries over the past year about 25%.
That's incredible.
So it's significant, and we have good benefits. We have retirement, health care for those folks as well. So, hopefully, if the last generation of folks have left the profession, we have a new generation coming up, and this is across the country. So
the news is you're hiring.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Aquatics instructors and a few other areas as well. So
Okay, that's good. How are there Ys, in the districts?
So in Massachusetts, we're all about the same.
Okay.
We're all, membership-wise, we're about, this November to 2 years ago, we're about 62 or 63% of where we were. And that's pretty in the range. Some are a little bit less, some are a little bit more than us, but all in the range. So people are starting to come back. There'll be a percentage of folks that were anxious before, and this just put them over the top, where they've decided to either work out at home or just do outdoor activities and may never come back. So I don't know if we'll ever get back to 100%.
Okay.
But
where were you pre-pandemic in terms of membership?
So here in Quincy, we had about 18,000 members, just over 18,000 members, and we would have over almost 3,500 visits a day.
Okay.
So we're about a third of that coming in every day now.
Okay.
And we're, as I mentioned, we're probably in the 9,000 range right now for members.
I remember when you first opened after the pandemic, you'd spaced out your machines quite a bit.
Right.
You'd taken all kinds of social distancing measures. Is that still in place?
Yeah,
or?
so what we did was we had requirements by the state. We could only go to 25% capacity, and then went to 50% capacity. What we had done, we kept about a third of the equipment that we have in there now. We've added about another third. So we're about 60%. We don't think anybody's ever going to be comfortable about being so close. You know, if you were on a treadmill, there was a treadmill here, 6 inches, another treadmill, all the way down.
Right.
So you'll see the spreading out as permanent as we move forward.
So just another sea change, really, in the way things are done. Yeah, but it strikes me that the Y has never cowered from your commitment to the community throughout this entire effort, versus, say, commercial gyms that just closed and kept taking people's money.
Yeah, this Y has always had a special relationship with the city. Yeah. And it goes back decades and decades. I think it's strengthened when we did the Germantown Neighborhood Center together, and has only grown here with Mayor Koch. You know, if he thinks there's a need, like he did, he's spreading out those folks who are homeless, and asked us to open up our building. You know, we responded right away.
Right.
And we know all the other not-for-profits in the city, so wherever we can be a part of or help, hopefully everyone knows we're here.
Yeah, and that is the stark difference, I think, between the two.
The other thing, especially with not-for-profits, local not-for-profits like us, most of the people that work here live here. Our board members live here, so they know what's going on in the community, and they help us connect and respond as well.
Yeah. Winter vacations coming up soon with the holidays.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll have winter programs.
Yep. So our winter registration is happening right now. That starts in January. During the vacation time, we do have vacation programs for school-age kids.
Yep.
Childcare continues, and then of course just drop in, to come in and do some recreational swimming, go in and play some basketball, go up and work out. So that continues.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it is the holiday season. I know that the Y is always involved in helping those less fortunate during this time of year.
Yeah, we do. We do a few things during the time. We had just completed our Thanksgiving meals that we help provide for folks, especially in Germantown.
Yes.
A few hundred meals that we prepared, turkey and everything that goes into it.
That's great.
And then now, as we get into, we'll also provide some other food going into Christmas, but especially the toy drive that we do every year, Germantown, for Germantown folks, but also anyone in Quincy, and it's such a neat experience for us, and how it's provided. At the Germantown tree lighting, we provided a few hundred toys, especially for girls, focused on girls there, for the Housing Authority. And then as we collect it, we do it by age group and by sex, and we do, I think we have well over 600 family requests right now. So a lot of our donors, our members, will adopt a family or just donate gifts. And then sometimes families will come in, make an appointment, and pick up their toys. And then they just put them under the tree for the kids. We also do with the volunteers in the Quincy Police Department. Right, the week before we have a bunch of police cars. They come over. We have volunteers following in cars, and the police cars go out through the city with the flashing lights and drop it off at folks' houses.
Oh, fun. Okay.
So it's pretty neat to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can folks still make a donation to
Yes, just drop them off right at the Y, and we'll make sure it gets over to the North Pole.
Exactly. So get new unwrapped toys, right?
Yes.
So and age appropriate.
Yes. Yeah.
For the younger kids.
Yep.
So.
I was over there the other day. I wanted to play with a few, actually.
Age appropriate, Paul.
Neat stuff.
Well, everybody's a kid at Christmas time, right?
Yeah. And this year, Dan Quirk Cars, is also providing drop-off spots. So any of his dealerships, they get drop-off spots there as well. So not only at the Y, but you can go to any of the dealerships and drop them off.
I know he's been a long supporter.
Yes,
a brand new van, I think, last year.
Yeah, when our van, which is it's not a little van, it's a big almost box truck that he donated because ours died, and just within a day he gave it to us, so we were able to collect all the food to continue with the food pantry.
That's great. Yeah. How did your taste of the South Shore go this year?
Again, interesting. You know, last year was all virtual. We did it virtually. Myself and Billy Costa from Kiss 108 did it. This year we did a hybrid. We had about 100 folks at Lombardo, so they were spread out in that huge ballroom. And we had 6 chefs there, and each grouping stayed at the table for about 15 to 20 minutes and moved all around, and the chef would explain and prepare something and explain just all the ingredients, how they did it. People got to ask questions, so it was a real intimate experience. It's almost like if the chef came to your home to do the same thing. And we had a little competition among the chefs, and then a week later we had filmed it, and a week later we did it virtually again, Billy Costa and I, and we showed the competition. We showed scenes from that in-person event, and we were able to still chat with people on Zoom and raise funds. And you know, it's been a little bit more challenging this year, but our development team, Mary Orn, our Vice President of Development, and her team, Kathy Quigley here from Quincy, did a great job, and we were very successful in a challenging environment.
Who won the chef competition?
I knew you were going to ask me that too. I believe it was the Chef's Table, which is a caterer, been very supportive. And they did this prime rib piece with truffle on top, and it was great. But,
it set the bar high then.
Yeah, Jimmy Liang was there, and he prepared a sushi dish right in front of us.
Neat.
And Paul Wahlberg was there from El Nova. So we had a good group. Dave Lombardo had his chef there from Lombardo.
Super.
You know, so.
Now the next event, not I think until the spring, right? Your next
right. You know, we usually we've had the Frozen 5K in the past.
Right.
We did it virtually last year. This year we just, you know, not able to really put it together. You know, we're just kind of unsure.
Sure. There's just a lot of uncertainty now about a lot of things right now. So you're kind of taking it as the circumstances dictate.
And what it's done, I think, for a lot of not-for-profits, but a lot of companies as well, is looking back at their core. You know, okay, what are we the best at? And let's continue on that. Let's not try to delude ourselves and do other things that we could have done before, but be a lot more focused and go deep in those areas. Child care, camp, of course swimming, that the Ys are known for, our health and wellness. So, and then, you know, community service.
Certainly.
That we're involved in.
How's your volunteer base, Paul, been?
You know, surprisingly, it's been pretty good. You know, people have felt very comfortable about helping out in North Pole and organizing all the toys. And during the meal preparation, we had many people help there. Germantown, we always have a good core group. If you've been over there, the grounds are beautiful. We have this great vegetable garden. Paul Malika, former regional president of Webster Bank, he's retired. That's his baby. He's over there. He does a great job.
Nice.
So we still have pockets of volunteers. Volunteers are coming back. I was just over at the Quincy Y, and we have a great volunteer, Jake, and his support dog, greeting everyone as a volunteer. So they're coming back now. People are feeling more and more comfortable.
Yeah. Are there still opportunities though if folks do want to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, when we're over at Germantown, we're still 3 or 4 times the normal of the food pantry.
It's incredible.
And getting more and more volunteers on a regular basis. You know, if they can help out a half a day or a day to help stock stock the shelves
Yes.
and help give it out. Right now we have a bunch of staff in and out. We have our permanent staff over there, but it's taking additional staff time too.
Yeah.
So if we can get more and more volunteers there especially.
Well, especially with the cost of food and things going up and up, you may
everything.
see more and more demand.
Yeah, you know, we had completed a capital campaign right before the pandemic. We raised over $10 million to do a number of projects to our camps, to our some outdoor facilities, and even up here in Quincy. So we're relooking at that right now. Construction prices are
that too. Yeah.
incredible
Yes.
high. We hosted the Boys and Girls Club of Dorchester last week. They were coming over to look at our field house and the activities. They're looking to build a new clubhouse that they call them over in Dorchester, over by UMass Boston.
Oh, all right.
And what they were quoting for construction prices were 3 times what it cost the Quincy Y.
That's incredible.
So, you know, to try to raise that is a real challenge. So
it's a good thing you built the new facility.
absolutely.
When you did.
Well, you know, if you look at the timing, we did it just before the boom of Quincy started to really take
That's right.
off.
Yes.
You know, so we were positioned well, same time as the high school across the street, and so.
Everything we've talked about and more is on your website, I know.
Yes,
Folks
yep.
should go to. Your social media, I know you're all over as
Yep,
well.
yep.
I want to wish you and yours a very happy, healthy holiday
Well,
season.
thanks, Joe. It's always great coming here and chatting with everyone.
Likewise. All right, we'll catch up again next year.
Okay, Joe. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Paul. Just enough time to check the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Could see some sunny breaks later on this afternoon. Pretty mild into the low 50s. Not too chilly this evening, right around 40 degrees. And we stay dry, really, for most of the week. Next chance for rain maybe Wednesday evening. But look at Thursday. Could be 60 degrees by then. Thanks again to Paul Gorman for joining us from the Y today.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Friday on the program, please join us for our next guest, and we will see you then. Until then, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.